Hello, everybody. My name is Tali Reiner-Bordetsky. I'm the Director of Community Engagement of Aid Coalition. Thank you for being with us today. Before we get started, please let us know where you're zooming in from. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, Aid Coalition is a U.S. not-for-profit organization whose mission is the strengthening and preserving of the democratic foundation of the State of Israel. For more information, please check out the link in the chat. Today, we mark 745 days since the start of the war. But with all the excitement about the ceasefire deal and hostage deal, we remember that 16 families are still waiting for the return of their loved ones for proper burial. We will keep fighting for them until the last one returns home. Today, together with our guest, Noa Sphigel, we wanted to take a deep dive on the ceasefire deal and all the current events in Israel right now. Just a few hours ago, we heard that 2 IDF soldiers were killed. I don't know about you, but I'm confused about this whole ceasefire situation. So let's first start with introducing Noa. Noa Sphigel, a seasoned political journalist, is currently the Knesset correspondent for Haaretz, one of Israel's leading newspapers. Noa was also one of the first women that was a combat fighter in Caracal unit, and she was also a pub manager in Israel and in New Zealand before starting her journalist career in Israeli radio and transitioning to newspaper. So Noa, thank you so much for being with us today. I know there's a lot to talk about because today is also the first day of the Knesset winter seat after the summer break. And I'm sure there's a lot of things that we can learn about this next Knesset session. But first of all, I want to start with talking about the ceasefire agreement. We see it being breached on multiple aspects. Not all the hostages were returned. And now there is actual fire going on. So let's start with that. What do we know about the deal, the terms? What can you tell us?
Well, basically, what we can say is that there is not much of details. There is one president, which is President Trump, who's controlling everything. He's the one who make the deal goes on, and he's the one who decide when the Israeli government can break this deal. There was a few days, colleague of mine, Yaniv Kubovich, he published an article and he said, Israeli soldiers sitting in the Gaza Strip, seeing Gazan people get killed by Hamas, and they don't know what to do. They don't know if they can involve, if they can, what can they do with this situation? And that's the things that going right now. Nobody knows what happened, who's gonna be there the next day, where it's gonna go. The only thing that we can actually say that there is real problem with part of the hostages' bodies, that they don't know where they are. They are not completely lying, Hamas. But the agreement, where does it go? It's changing every minute. I was in the phone a few minutes ago, and they said they're going to stop the humanitarian aid. Now they say they're going to continue the humanitarian aid tomorrow. So I guess behind the scene that President Trump just say to the Israeli government what to do. That's what happened.
Hmm. Yeah, a lot of questions. Do we know what kind of, since there's a lot of countries involved, like you said, the US is involved in this, but also Turkey, we hear, Qatar, and we understand there are a lot of promises being made that this deal will uphold, right? A lot of reassurances from all sides. But do we know like what kind of reassurances? How
No, the question is no. Most of I tell you what's happening in Israel right now is I think the Israeli society, the Israeli people, so wanted this war to over, most of them, that we're not kind of going into details right now. Hey, who's in charge here and stuff like this. It just everybody is kind of, the hostages came back. We are in the hostages story, the hostages that didn't come back yet. And that's what people here talking about. And the whole deal is kind of got, like a fog layer on it. And nobody know exactly what you said yourself, the Turkish, the Qatarian, I mean, that's a huge thing. That's not countries that like us. It's not countries that we want to have any, that they control what's going on next to us. And it's kind of, I don't know, the Prime Minister of Israel made this agreement just to go away, and people are all right with that. And nobody know exactly what the details, even as the journalist. If I knew, I was telling, yeah. But but we don't know what's going on, and that's another thing. That's the thing that everything is changing every minute, and 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 in the meantime, the political system in Israel is, throwing dust on everything. So we are kind of in kind of a chaos that nobody knows where it goes to.
So going back to Trump, President Trump's involvement, I think a lot of us, and together with the hostages coming home, a lot of us were tuned in and excited to see his very short visit to Israel. And I was wondering, how did it? I mean, I know you were there in the Knesset, very exciting. It's not every day that you see an American president come to speak at the Knesset. So, can you tell us how did the Knesset welcome him, and what are the sentiments of both the coalition and with his visit?
So as far as I know, it's only the fourth time American president visit the Knesset, and it was a very short term between the point that he said he's going to come to the Knesset and until he arrived. It was supposed to be very special event, really. This day last week was extremely, I don't know even how to say it. It was a range of feelings in the Israeli society between, in the morning, the 20 hostages came back, and then President Trump, which made it happen, came to the Knesset, and it was supposed to be a very special day, but it wasn't that way, I must say. I was in the Knesset that day. I arrived really early. Lots of people arrived there. They would try to make it look, very flashy and respectful, with everything in the Knesset was looking good, and the red carpet and everybody was looking good, and respectful. And then you start to look around and you see the people, and you notice that there are political activists that came into the Knesset. That is the whole event of celebrating something that, it's common to the whole to the whole country, became kind of photo op or background to the election that gonna goes. Lots of people from the Likud got to get into the Knesset, got to get into the hall of the Knesset. I'll give you an example. Journalists didn't have enough room. I mean, one of my colleagues didn't manage to come into the Knesset hall because he's been told he's coming from a tiny desk, so he cannot come in. But you see inside, you see people that activist of the Likud, a singer that active in the Likud he was in there, a woman that is in charge on the social media. People who have no connection to the event are in there, and you see it's like it's in a campaign. It's not really. I mean, the Knesset mayor and the prime minister and all, they are all from the Likud. And unfortunately, it wasn't look like a celebration of the whole country, but more of the Likud.
And I've heard that there are other important figures that were missing, right? That were not invited even to attend.
Yes, that's come with the head of the Supreme Court. He wasn't invited. You've got in those kind of events, you need to invite the head of the Supreme Court, and you need to invite the Attorney General and all kind of these figures. And basically, well, I guess our listeners know the problematic situation between the system, the law system, the people of the law system, and the politicians in Israel right now. So they just didn't invite them, and that was very unacceptable. When I asked the Knesset why didn't they were invited, they told me it's not an kind of official or something like this. I mean, they got some excuse for not invite them. It became a huge story because when President Trump arrived, it was the day of holiday night. So we had about 24 hours of quiet, and after those 24 hours, the head of the Knesset, the mayor, not mayor, how do you say it? The head of
chairman
of the chairman of the Knesset, right? Sorry for that. The chairman of the Knesset was attacking and said he don't want to invite the Supreme Court, the head of the Supreme Court, because he was not elected, and start to make a huge political thing, which made the president of Israel to say it was not appropriate, and that became a huge kind of celebration of political not nice things stuff. So yeah, that's what happened. They didn't invite it, and I tell you that tomorrow, supposed to be tomorrow in Israel, supposed to be the first day of the winter sit of the Knesset, and they invited the head of the Supreme Court, but just not as the head of the Supreme Court, just like any other judge in the Supreme Court. And they didn't invite Gali Barav Miara, the Attorney General. So yes, that's what's going on at the moment.
So it's really sheds a light about following events, and then this winter seat, like session of the Knesset, right? So going into these politics a bit, how would you say this deal, this ceasefire deal, does it have any effect about the political situation? I know leading up to it, there are some coalition leaders that were opposed doing any kind of deal with Hamas. Does that change anything?
Right at the moment, it changed only by talks, only by saying stuff, because the political situation at the moment in Israel is this. You've got two extreme right wing in the government, Itamar Ben Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich. Bezalel Smotrich, the head of the Tzionut Datit, that's the name of the party, is the finance minister. And he also a minister in the defense office. And he got lots to lose from doing too much trouble at the moment, all right? Because he's got lots of money going under his hand, and he's doing stuff. I mean, he's putting lots of money in the West Bank. He's building the new settlements, and he's doing stuff that, according to his ideology. And I don't think he's going to break the dishes or whatever. So you want to stay. Ben-Gvir got lots of power. He's the minister of the internal, is in charge on the police and stuff like this. He's got lots of power. He don't want to lose it. So they both was against the agreement. And also the voters against the agreement. They didn't want any peace. They basically, I think they also said it in lots of events. They managed to say that they just want the Gaza Strip to be empty of Arabs in different ways. I think you can hear some of their quotes in Hag. So they don't want the people there. They wanted to transfer the people from there. But when you look at to the, in the political angle, they've got lots to lose, so they're not gonna break the government over this thing. It does have a lot of pressure. For example, today, when the ceasefire was kind of breaking with the shooting in the IDF soldiers, I think Smotrich was the first to write, okay, let's go fight. So they do have pressure on the prime minister, but they both don't want an election right now, and they know that that's the price they're gonna pay if they're gonna break everything and say, well, we not agree to everything. Even though they voted against the deal in the government last week, they knew it's gonna pass anyway. So I think they do have power, but at the moment they prefer the power they have than going to election.
How does it line up with the Israeli sentiment? I mean, I think you mentioned earlier, most of the Israelis were waiting for the deal to happen. Is everybody seems to be pleased with the deal as it is, although, again, we don't have much of the details? Or do we hear more and more people are against it? Well, what's the current sentiment? What do you say?
The sentiment was to go to a deal because the Israeli society is tired after 2 years of war, because soldiers continue to get killed in the Gaza Strip, because no one knows where this war is going to, and the hostages, it was 2 years in this hell. It was way too much. But it's not all of the Israeli society. It's never all of them. It's most of them, according to polls, but it's not all of them. And there is part of the society that said, of the people of Israel, who said, well, we need, like Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, we need to continue till there was a Jewish settlement in the Gaza Strip, till we're gonna make them disappeared or transfer or whatever. So there is people in Israel that think that the deal was a mistake. But I think when you look at the percentage, most of the Israeli wanted to end this war, and people are exhausted. I mean, there is people who was, go to the army again and again, people, in the 30s and 40s and 50s, that go to the army again and again and served 400 and 500 days like leave their kids, leave their families, leave their jobs and go fight. You can't help life like this. You can't continue like this. So people here was a little bit of, like, let's finish with it. What happened now is that we see a very, I don't know even how to say it. It's like, you see at the moment in the last few days, campaign that go on the heads of the hostages family. The hostages family that were fighting for 2 years to bring their kids home are now getting tons of bad stuff in their face in the social media, and they really, the
What kind of
gaps.
attacks? What are they saying about them?
They blame them for a political intervention, that they weren't, they didn't only wanted to bring their kids back, they also wanted the prime minister to go home, which is not, it makes sense. The prime minister, the whole thing was happened when he was a prime minister, but they actually blame them in try to ruin the democratic decision, that it was all about the prime minister, not about their kids. And really, they need to deal with such it's really hard to explain how we arrived to this situation, that people that fight to bring their kids back have to deal right now with people who's writing on them such a horrible stuff. But this is part of the.
And on the other hand, we see that the American administration really embraced these families, right? And the protests. They embraced the protesters, saying, that it's amazing how much the Israeli people want to see their loved ones home, right? To see them in the street, to see the people's power. And so you say now the Israeli public is really pushing, some of the Israeli public is now pushing against it. Unbelievable.
It's all got colored in political colors, okay? Because of the election is coming, because of the prime minister thought he's gonna get more electorate, more power in polls after bringing the hostages. By the way, he thought he's gonna get more power after the Iran attack. It didn't happen. So what happened now is that they are making the gaps even more deep than they were. And it's really, the Israeli society is going through a very bad times right now. I mean, it's for the last 3 years, but now it's even more, because you see people like hostages' parents that get it right now. So I can tell you, I'm a Knesset correspondent, and I've been to the Knesset through the whole 2 years, and you see how it's going. All right. In the beginning, the hostage families got treated very well in the Knesset. They came to the Knesset to talk in the committees, to say what they want. The Knesset was hugging them, really. They got, like voucher for food. They were there. People listened to them. MKs gave them respect. And after a few months, that was in the beginning of the war. After a few months, you start to see a new organization coming to the Knesset. They are not the hostages family forum. They are a new organization, and from the mouth you hear the government sayings, like they start to blame the IDF. The IDF, you got blame on the 7th of October, yeah? But start to blame the IDF, or start to say that the chief of the IDF is a left wing, or started to say that the Attorney General is the problem. She is the problem, not anyone else. And you don't understand what's going on. There is kind of a chaos in the Knesset. And instead of let the people, that start the hostages family to fight, you hear another organization that part of them, by the way, was built by a political activist from the right. So it's kind of give it a contra, give it a, well, don't listen only to the hostages family. We've got an opinion too. So you see how it's going, and now it's kind of not surprised that at the moment the poison machine is on their head too.
So, do you think the elections will be moved up? I mean, so currently they're scheduled for November 26th, but with everything going on, and this feeling of the campaign has started, like seeing all these Likud activists in the Knesset now. Do we think that it will be earlier than expected?
I guess it's going to be earlier than expected because even though nobody can make it earlier from the opposition or stuff like this, or Benjamin Netanyahu going to have like a stable government, he wouldn't want the election to be in this date. October it's now and going to be forever the worst months of the year in the Israeli calendar. Because of the 7th of October, it's just going to October and everybody is depressed here. So I don't think he want the election to go on around October. He probably want it to be sooner. There is a few things that can change the date of the election. First of all, we've got the problem with the Haredim, the ultra-Orthodox, about serving the army, this whole kind of crisis. He's trying to solve it with the guy he put to manage the defense committee. Yes, the defense committee. You put MK there to try to arrange kind of thing with how the Haredi will not go to the army. So first you've got this thing. The second thing, you got the thing with the finance, the country finance,
The budget
the
coming up.
budget, yes. And he need to go through it till the end of March. And if he's not going to go through it and it's not going to pass till the end of March, he need the Knesset is cannot continue according to the law. So we've got a few things on the way, and I think the main thing for him, above all, is the polls. When you're going to see he's going to win in the polls, when you're going to see you've got a stable coalition, when you're going to see that there is a new party that he can join, that can join him after the election, and you've got the amount of men that he need for continue being prime minister, then he will go to the election. So after the whole thing, I think he's waiting for him to be in a good position in polls. That's it.
How are the polls now after the deal? Are they better for him, for the government?
It changed a little bit. It's better for him, not enough better for him. When you look at the polls, you need to look, not only on the Likud. You need to see the next coalition. So you need to see how much the Likud have and how much Shas gonna have and how much Yadut Torah, the ultra-Orthodox, Ben Gvir, Smotrich. If you look at the polls in Israel, for example, Smotrich, it doesn't have for months now enough voters to pass and to be a part of the coalition. You need amount voters to go into the Knesset. It doesn't is around it, and so but Benjamin Netanyahu have a system. Usually before the election, there is a new party coming on. It's usually a soft right party. So we're going to see who's going to be the player, you know. We don't know yet who's going to be the player on this game. There's a few names that goes that we hear. One of them is Yossi Cohen, the ex-Mossad head. One of them is Kahlon. He was an
He's coming
MK. Maybe. There was there is a kind of a talk about Kahlon and Gantz corporate. Gantz, we've seen before, is supposed to be not Netanyahu's supporter, but he's managed before to help him to stay prime minister. He joined. I want to give you a good example for for Gantz. All right, in the beginning of the war, when everybody understand this is extreme situation, and we need to do something extreme to save the country. They wanted to make, strong white coalition. And Netanyahu said it. And Gantz said, Lapid said, Yair Lapid said, well, I'm into it, all right? I'm going to get in if you're going to get out Smotrich and Ben-Gvir, because we cannot manage this thing with those extremists. Gantz says, I'm going into it. And that's what happened eventually. And you cannot, not think about what was happened if Netanyahu would stop for a minute, say, well, Ben-Gvir and Smotrich go out and I'm gonna manage this thing with Gantz and Lapid together. We've probably been in a different place right now. It didn't happen because Gantz was running into the coalition.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens next. So what do you think with this new session in the Knesset? What are the main topics that are going to come up? You mentioned that, Ben-Gvir and Smotrich are really interested in keeping their power and bringing in some bills that they are important for them. And I'm sure the Likud as well and other coalition members have a lot of interest in this winter session, maybe the last one before the next election. Who knows? So what are the main things that we're going to be seeing and talking about?
Well, we're going to see what we've seen before. It's going to come back, with superpower at them right now. Yariv Levin and Simcha Rotman, they're going to continue try to make laws that going to make the judicial system weaker, to change the power to give more power to the government, to give more power to the politician, to take the power from court. That's what they're trying to do. Just today, the committee, one of the committees, the government committees, was improve a law that like when you choose people for a position, for a high position, you need some committee who say if he's the right person or not the right person. They're going to cancel those committees and just make the politician choose those people without any
Directors, right?
not non-directors, like CEOs. There is the directors law. This is a different one. CEOs, the police chief, all right, the IDF chief. so that politician can, like choose them without any control, without anyone who say they are okay, they are not okay. This is the law, and they approve it to try to let's see how it goes. Yeah, it's only the, like a very, it's just started right now, but they wanted to do it. So you've got this thing, you've got all the West Bank thing that they want to continue to build Jewish settlements. They want to, if to be honest, Smotrich is good in what he's doing. He have a mission to put as much as Jewish people in the West Bank, and he's doing it to put as much as money as he can in the West Bank, and that's going on very well according to what he wants. Another thing that today the committee was decided to, give it a green light is to improve the Jewish atmosphere in the everywhere, actually, everywhere. We had some.
You can explain to us what it means to improve the Jewish atmosphere, because I think for us in the diaspora, we would always like to improve the Jewish atmosphere, but I think it has different meaning in Israel, right?
It does have. Take, for example, Tel Aviv is a liberal city. There was a huge argument a few years ago that actually it's an argument that's coming back every year about, praying a separation in the middle of the city. All right? In separation between men and women. So this law said that if somebody gonna make it not happen, is actually can go to court for not allowing people to pray in a separation. It forced every institute that get money from the government to put a mezuzah. Okay, just for example, the first thing I can think about is that we've got Arab people in Israel, 20% of the population. Do we have to force them to put mezuzah? Does it help them in any way? Do we need to threat them if they're not going to do it? It sounds to me, a bit odd, and it's a long bill, strange thing, really. It's coming, on the background of there was a few months ago, there was a guy in school who put tefillin. And the manager told him not to put the tefillin there, and somehow it became a political issue, huge again. The Ben Gvir attacked the manager, and there was a huge thing around it. So the bill also said you cannot prevent from a person to put tefillin anywhere he wants, if it's in school. It's kind of finger in the eye, all right? It's not really to to make the Judaism space in Israel, because Jewish people have space in Israel everywhere. In Israel, you cannot go in a bus on Saturday, all right, because of the religious people. So it's actually kind of you can also say it's kind of the campaign. We're going to election. It's also part of it. The MK who's running this bill is Galit Distal Atberian. She's from the Likud, and this is her main issue, to be liked by religious people. That's where she's going.
Really, like the Likud was a very liberal party, right?
What? That's exactly what happened. It used to be a liberal party, but when you see the people here today in the Likud, you see people, they are much more religious, much more orthodox. When you see, like you've got the balance between Zionist and Jewish, they are much more Jewish than Zionist. You see people like Shlomo Kari, You see people like Mai Golan. You see people like Osher Shkalim, if you heard the name. Those people could be easily in the Ben-Gvir's party. There is not a lot of differences today between part of the Likud than to the Otzma Yehudit Ben-Gvir's party. They are very similar. So to say that the Likud is liberal, they were, they was before. Part of them is still. But today the Likud is basically, part of them are kind of a Kahanist. I mean, like the Kahana heritage. And part of them are just around the leader.
And I guess do we also see that in their supporters on the ground? Do we see that shift?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. You see the activist from the party who's attacking protester in the street. You see, when I said before about the hostage families that get this poison machine on their head, so it's lots of that's coming from the Likud supporters, yes.
And would you say the old Likud party supporters, do they find a new home? Are they going more to Gantz, to other
I think
parties?
that's the thing that giving Netanyahu the space for winning the next election, because there was people who was they are basically a Likud kind of people, the old groups of the Likud, and the Likud is not home for them anymore. By the way, you can see it, you can hear it in the former MKs. They say it. That's not the party I was belong to. And now you can, what I said before, as I said before, Netanyahu can build, it's like not his building it, but he can build a new party, soft right, and the people from the old Likud gonna find their home, their political homes there. And after the election, he's gonna join them to the coalition and we get more of the same. I think that's the thing with Kahlon, for example. It happened before. Kahlon is a soft right wing, is liberal and everything. But eventually, after the election, when you try to, manage the game, he's gonna join him probably.
So one of the laws you said you were coming up and might lead to an election is about the IDF recruitment, right? And the ultra-Orthodox that are currently not being drafted. How does the Likud, work with that? Because I know, again, originally, most of the Likud party supporters are not ultra-Orthodox. They serve, there are many reservists there. How does the Likud solve this issue? Like, how do they see it being resolved?
Well, I think we can see very clear how they resolve it, because you see, 2 years they didn't manage to make a law, to make a bill that make the ultra-Orthodox go to the IDF. It's not by a mistake. It's not because there is no agreement. It's because it's good for them to continue to let the times go on and nothing happen, because you are right. They have problem with their voters because their voters are Zionists. They want to see people going to, people in the age of 18 going to the IDF and not sitting and praying all day, or most of them probably not praying all day. So they want them to see them going to the IDF. And what what Netanyahu did was just to make the time goes on. 2 years of war. There is no bill.
Yeah. Uh, so we have a few more minutes. If anybody has questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A. What about some of the new players that we've been seeing starting to pop up? I know Eisenkot has stepped down from the Knesset, but is now building a new party. And also we see others that are popping up, reserve soldiers that are representing some reserve soldiers, some other parts of the society. Do we think that they'll have any success or?
Yes. There was a huge protest here in Israel, and the head of the protest, when you're going back, like 2 years ago before the war, the protest against the revolution they were trying to do in the judge system, in the court system. And you've got the new leaders right now because of the war, against the whole way the war was going on. So there is people we don't really know yet who they are, but they're gonna run. For example, there's a few head of protests. They're gonna go in the Democratic Party, in the Avoda Party, Labor Party. They're gonna go to the primaries over there. From the right wing or the center, you can see also an IDF kind of parties. You see Yoaz Hendel, he was before MK, he was a minister as well. He's trying to go on this ticket. He's a right wing, and the big question is eventually if he's going to be like part of the Netanyahu's plan or not, and nobody knows it yet. About Eisenkot, he was part of the Gantz party, and he realized Gantz not going to let anyone else to be number one in this party, so he decided to go. But I think eventually he's going to join someone. Probably it's going to be Bennett, who's coming back to the stage also. And so there is a few, most of them are old new players, but there will be new players as well. I guess when we will know when the election are, they're gonna pop up, and all of them. They're waiting for good timing to declare and start running. But
And do you
behind the
think we'll
scenes,
see?
they do stuff.
Yeah. Do you think we'll see some unified front? I mean, there are a lot of new like you mentioned, a lot of these new or old players that are popping up. Will they, come together later
Yes,
on?
there will be a unite. There will be, yes. As I said, I think if that's what you mean, Bennett and Isaac, for example, probably gonna run together in some constellation. I guess all of them look at the polls and decide by the polls what to do, right?
Right, right.
I know that before Eisenkot was checking if it's better for him to run with Bennett or with Lapid, and he realized that Bennett is better because it's like get more voters. But again, they do polls all the time, and according to this, they would run together, or run separately, or run together in that kind of way or different kind of way.
Do you think, and we've heard it in Trump's speech at the Knesset, that he referred to Netanyahu's trial. Do you think that will have any effect on the election? Are we expecting to see, Herzog, the president, do something about this trial or not?
I don't think Herzog is going to do something about it. He didn't do till today, so I don't think he's going to do this trial affect not only the election, it affect the lives of probably everyone in Israel because I don't know if you see what happened last week. All right, there was the trial was resumed after a break, the summer break, and um, MKs and people from the Likud came to court to support the prime minister, and Minister Levin he said he's gonna advance a bill that make that let politician to get involved in how many days the prime minister gonna get testimony and stuff. Really huge thing. And you look at it and you think, well, okay, this morning was again Netanyahu is a victim of the all the criminal thing that somebody sold him. But if we go back to the beginning of our conversation, it's the trial is a cover for, hey, what did he do with the war? What happened with the agreement of the war? How did it end? It's not what your voters wanted, all right? So we're gonna see a huge chaos about this thing, and it affects everything, this trial. I don't think the president Herzog is gonna involve in this thing. I do think that, I don't know if it's not a wishful thinking, but in some point, Netanyahu will go to some kind of agreement, to finish this trial, and maybe that's what's gonna end this thing, because otherwise it's gonna take years on years, and Netanyahu will want to stay prime minister as long as this trial goes on, because it gives him huge power on this thing.
Yeah, we'll just see it drag more and more, definitely. There's one question here from Edward. He's asking, has there been any push to have Haredi schools require their students to learn math, science, and English, like the normal schools?
I wish, not in this government. They are not dealing with these things. They are not dealing with the Haredik. As we can see, they are trying to make them continue not go to the army. So about the education, they don't care about it. They just want the Haredik to continue support the government, even though, by the way, they are outside the coalition at the moment. But they want them, so they're not gonna force them to do something strange like learning math or English or something.
Yeah. So that's not the current government's interest.
No, far away from it, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, and I saw that one of the things that are being discussed to be brought up as bills for this next session is to have the religious courts have more power, right?
Yeah.
So what does that mean? I guess for all of us here that aren't familiar with religious courts, because we don't have them here, what would it mean for the Israeli people?
Basically, this bill say that the religious court can deal with issues that they couldn't deal with till today. Only, like the normal court could discuss it. And it's about managing an argument, a civil argument. it's not completely clear. Like you need to have an agreement of both sides to go to a religious court instead to the regular one. But the
That's
big
true
thing
for
about
today, I guess, right?
no, because it make them it's expand their mandate to deal with things they haven't dealt with before. But okay, let's say it straight. Women in the religious in the in the Judaism they are less considered than men.
So that's in the Orthodox
In
Orthodox
the
Judaism.
Orthodox, well, the Jewish, the Judaism court is only Orthodox, okay? In Israel, they're not really counting Reformic communities and stuff, especially not now, okay? Not now. When I said this coalition is making Israel more religious, is not Reformic, okay? It's only Orthodox. So the big thing is that it make the theories that women right will be disappeared because they have no choice, because if the men say, well, go to the religious court, what they can say, they're considered less than the men. So it's a problematic bill. It's very important to Yadut Torah, to the ultra-Orthodox party. At the moment, they are not part of the coalition. So it might be stuck for a while, or it might be it might be the reason they will come back to the coalition. You never know.
And be used as a peace offering.
Yes.
Okay, our hour is almost up, and we can talk about many issues I think that are coming up in the Knesset, but we'll stop here. So I just want to thank you so much, Noah, for being with us today, and for all of you for being with us. Next week, next Sunday, we're going to have a webinar, this time in Hebrew. We're having a new series for Israelis that are living abroad. And we're going to talk about everything we need to know about doing taxes when we're outside of Israel. But we will be having these kinds of news updates monthly. And next time will be at November 23rd, I believe it is. So at the end of November, we're going to have another Israeli journalist joining us, and we'll have these sessions regularly. So please join us and look for the updates in your inbox. Thank you very much. Thank you, Noah.
Thank you for having me.